Thank you, Ruben. Well, good morning. Welcome this morning to Unitarian Universalist Church West here in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Whatever moved you to be here this morning in person or virtually, thank you for being here together. Welcome. Each of you, welcome. I'm Eric Zern, and this is one of the duties I'm privileged to perform as a member of your Board of Trustees. No matter how many times I do this, I come up here with butterflies, right? I'm sure that doesn't happen to anybody else. But seeing everybody's smiling faces really helps kind of settle that down. So I don't know about you, but I've been struggling a little to figure out what our Indigenous people land acknowledgement means to me and to us. And as part of that struggle, I've come to understand, of course, that that's kind of part of the point. So we offer gratitude this morning for the privilege of living and gathering on territory inhabited at various times by Native peoples of the Ojibwe, Ho-Chunk, Kickapoo, Potawatomi, Menominee, and Oneida nations, among others. So much of the history of this land has been erased or ignored. As part of my own discernment on this, I'd like to share with you that I have the privilege of working on matters of deep cultural significance with some of the sovereign nations here in Wisconsin, including Forest County Potawatomi community, the Ho-Chunk Nation, and the Oneida Nation. One consistent message across all of our work together is this: while it is important to acknowledge our shared history, it is far more important to understand that the peoples of these sovereign nations are here in the present, with us, proud and among us, and deeply engaged in making the world better for their people and for their neighbors, us. As a welcoming congregation to gay, lesbian, transgendered, bisexual, and queer plus peoples, we continue to address ongoing homophobia, violence, and legislation unfairly targeting them. As an anti-racist faith community, we also acknowledge that racism throughout our society continues to lead to the violent deaths and oppressions of Jews, blacks, and indigenous peoples, and other peoples of color. May we engage in the struggle to dismantle white supremacy culture in our hearts, in our community, and in the wider world. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your age or color, whatever your gender identity, whomever you love, however you define family, you are welcome here. Whatever the color of your skin, the language your grandparents spoke, the cultures that live in your being, the abilities and disabilities you hold, you are welcome here. Whatever you believe, whatever your theology, prayer, or sacrament, even if not at all, you are welcome here. We gather here united around Unitarian Universalist principles. We are a community of communities, spiritual seekers, called to take action by our commitment to justice, united in covenant, and in a spirit of love. You are welcome here. So with that, let's do a little housekeeping, as we always do. If you're new here or visiting this morning, please take a moment to fill out one of these yellow slips that you got with your hymnal, or drop us a note at visitor@uucw.org, or stop by the visitors table in the community room after the service and have a chat. Dave Cicero, our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, reminds us that the nursery is fully staffed and that summer RE programs begin this week, today. Children will depart for that after the story, as is typically done during the rest of the church year. If you're feeling a little antsy today, or you just listen better while doing something with your hands, you can scoot over to the worship exploration table at any time and do some activities there while listening attentively to the service. There will be a time in the service today for spoken joys and concerns. If you're joining us virtually, you can participate by sending a text to Reverend Euland. Two things of particular note today. The General Assembly, Unitarian Universalist Association, is coming up. It's happening June 20th through the 23rd. It's completely virtual this year and is chock full of workshops and interesting sessions. Attending the business sessions is free. You can find a registration link and additional information, including watch parties here at UUCW, in the Thursday e-news. If you're planning or interested in participating in today's Milwaukee Pride Parade, there's a carpool of a group going together, so we march together as a church, forming after church today. The sort of rally point is up in UL3, which is one of those classrooms up the ramp, if you're not familiar with that. And we'll be meeting right after church to do that. So, with all that now shared and received, let us settle in for this time that we've set aside just to be here together. Please center yourself and welcome the Spirit.
Our theme for the month of June is the gift of renewal. And today we renew our sense of preparedness for what comes next by looking back at all the wisdom that we've accumulated in our communal lives. Our opening words are those of Katie Romana Griffin, invoking the past, present, and future. Come, let us enter into this space of hope and community. Come, let us enter this space with our sorrows, our joys, our passion, and compassion. Come, let us enter this space with the stories of our ancestors, for their strength and wisdom beats in our hearts. Come into this space, present to the beloved companions who move beside us. Come into this space, mindful that together we are building a future for other generations. Come into this space and let us worship. So welcome to this space where all are welcome, where we intentionally journey through life together, learning all along the way. And let's begin by lighting our chalice.
When Unitarian Universalists gather, we light a chalice, a flame in an open cup representing the light of truth, the fire of commitment, and the warmth of community. If you're joining us online, you might contribute to our communal fire by creating a light there in whatever way you're able. Our chalice lighting words this morning, written by Rebecca Savage, remind us that when we look at our past, we also need to own that history, for good or for ill. I invite you to read them with me.
The words won't be up there.
The words will not be up there. And they're in the order of service? Okay. So you're still invited to read those with me. We light our flaming chalice as a beloved people, united in love and thirsting for restorative justice. May it melt away the tethers that uphold whiteness in our midst. May it spark in us the spirit of humility. May it ignite in us radical love that transforms our energy into purposeful action. This is a chalice of audacious hope. This chalice shines a light on our shared past, signaling our intention to listen deeply, reflect wisely, and move boldly toward our highest ideals. With these words celebrating the existence of multiple ways of being, we light our chalice.
So let's sing. What Gift Can We Bring is a celebration of the way in which our past prepares us for the present. It's number 404 in our hymnal. Please rise in body and/or spirit to sing.
What gift can we bring? What present, what token, what words can convey it, the joy of this day? When grateful we come, remembering, rejoicing, what song can we offer in honor and praise? Give thanks for the past, for those who had vision, who planted and watered so dreams could come true. Give thanks for the now, for study, for worship, for mission that bids us turn prayer into deed. This gift we now bring, this present, this token, these words can convey it, the joy of this day. When grateful we come, remembering, rejoicing, this song we now offer in honor and praise.
Good morning. If anyone would like a better view of the pictures, you can come sit on the floor up front. I forgot to get cushions out, but if you're young enough to sit on the floor, you'll be okay. I'm Dave Cicero. My pronouns are he and his, and I serve at UUCW as the Director of Lifespan Religious Education. Now, around this time of year, graduates are often given as a gift a certain book by Dr. Seuss about looking forward in life. It's called Oh, the Places You'll Go. The story I'm reading today is not that one. Because we're looking behind today in today's service to remember our past, especially the lessons and stories that our previous adventures have to tell, I'll be reading a story about a penny. Not a general history of the penny, but the imagined story of one specific penny. The book is called Oh, the Places You've Been. It was written by Ben and Mary Everard and was illustrated by Andrea Alemano. I'm reading it with permission of the publisher, Mascot Books, and the main author himself, who chimed in on an email saying, yeah, have fun with that. So while seeking out this story, I ran across a video of two local Waukesha elementary teachers, actually, reading this story online for their students, both aloud and in American Sign Language. So I hope that including the ASL reading with the book's pages today is helpful to some of you. Might not be big enough to see, but it's the effort that counts. Once upon a midsummer's day lived a penny that wanted to play. Staring at the sky so wide, it pondered quietly on its side. It just so happened, right there and then, down the street sprinted Harper Glenn, a feisty girl of no more than 8 who was running just a little bit late. Something caught her eye as she passed, an old copper penny in the sun that flashed. The penny was old, dirty, and dark, lost of all shine, all shimmer, all spark. Should she keep it? Should she toss it aside? In spite of its looks, there was something inside that made Harper say, "This penny can stay." And that's when she heard the faint whisper of words. I'm not much to look at, this is quite clear, but I have wondrous adventures both far and near. I've been high and I've been low. I've been fast and I've been slow. I've been hot and I've been cold. I've been scared and I've been bold. I've been found and then lost, dropped and then tossed, over and over and over again. But oh, the places I have been. This chip you see on my coppery face is a mark that I completely embrace. From my time underwater, chilly and wet, but then saved by a fisherman's net. A forest of redwoods is next on my list, towering trees overclouded with mist. Here I embraced solitude and defiance, and discovered the power of nature and science. Once I was buried in snow. Strong winds from afar would constantly blow. It was rugged and rough on top of that mountain. How I longed for the days when I'd lounge in a fountain. As I shivered up there, wondering how to escape a frozen embrace as my ultimate fate, I kept my wits and remembered this trick. When you're knocked to the ground, get back up really quick. A city with buildings as high as the sky. A field full of fireflies who won't say goodbye. A hillside near waves crashing under the moon. A river with rocks that were smoother than smooth. All of these places I've moved far beyond this sidewalk's groove. Back in the year 1969, I was recently minted and had all my shine. I went for a ride way up in the sky, bound for the moon, higher than high. I was nervous as I could be up in that rocket, but when Neil stepped out, I smiled from his pocket. We were as far can go, past the sky and on the moon. Maybe one day, Harper Glen, you will go there too. There's advice to be learned from the tales I have told. Even pennies forgotten have adventures to behold. And sometimes it's the oldest and frailest of things with the greatest of stories their full life brings. So next time you see a penny alone on its side, ponder for a moment as you break your stride. Think of all the wonders that a penny may have seen and ask a simple question. Where has your penny been? Thank you for listening. Now, Rory has agreed to light our RE lantern. And while those heading out, come up front, please, and follow Rory and the lantern out to the out of the sanctuary. I invite the rest of us to join in singing our children's recessional. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go.
Good morning. I'm Natalie Fleury, and my pronouns are she and her. This morning's story told the journey of a penny, of all the places it's been and all it has experienced. This poem by Stanley Kunitz tells a similar tale of looking back in order to ground oneself in all that has been while also preparing oneself for the future. It's titled, The Layers. I have walked through many lives, some of them my own, and I am not who I was, though some principle of being abides, from which I struggle not to stray. When I look behind, as I am compelled to look, before I can gather strength to proceed on my journey, I see the milestones dwindling toward the horizon and the slow fires trailing from the abandoned campsites, over which scavenger angels wheel on heavy wings. Oh, I have made myself a tribe out of my true affections, and my tribe is scattered. How shall the heart be reconciled to its feast of losses? In a rising wind, the manic dust of my friends, those who fell along the way, bitterly stings my face. Yet I turn, exulting somewhat, with my will intact, to go wherever I need to go, and every stone in the road precious to me. In my darkest night, when the moon was covered and I roamed through wreckage, a nimbus-clouded voice directed me. Live in the layers, not on the litter. Though I lack the art to decipher it, no doubt the next chapter in my book of transformations is already written. I am not done with my changes.
Every stone on the journey, precious. Every stone, whether it's rough or polished, large or small, every one precious. In a moment, you're going to be invited to come to this mic to make connections with one another by sharing something of your life's journey. If you're online and you'd like me to light a candle for you, you can send me a text. What you share aloud here this morning will only be heard by those who are gathered at this time. You can always choose to share another way in writing via that yellow slip you got, or the QR code on the order of service, or the e-news, and that will be shared as you indicate. And now, if you'd like to come here to speak, you might come to either side and then take turns. If you wish to remain seated, an usher is ready to bring you a microphone, and just raise your hand and they'll bring it to you. And after each sharing, I'll light a candle for you and we'll invite you all to respond with me. We hold you in love. So come. It's already been mentioned, but I just want to say that we light a candle to celebrate Pride, happening many places at this time of year. For those who are going to be able to march and ride in the parade today, for those who have been manning the booth or peopling the booth at Blessed, oh man, I forgot what it's called now, Blessed at Pride, that's not quite right. Blessed at Pride Fest, that's how it goes together. Great, thank you. And offering blessings and affirmations to those who come by and letting them know they're loved. This is for all of them, all of us, everyone who is working so hard to be sure that folks are included in the community of life and seen and honored for who they are. And along with this, coming this week, June 12th, is I think the 8th anniversary of the Pulse Night shootings in Orlando. And so we carry that memory with us and what it tells us about the ways in which some people are seen and the violence that's expressed toward them. And so this is a candle for all those who are still suffering and carrying that with them. We do hold you in love. I'm lighting a candle as always, as usual, really sort of every day for all of you online that we don't see in person always, but we know you're there. We know you're part of this community. We care about you. This candle is for you and for whatever you're carrying, whatever's going on in your lives, be it joy or sorrow, we hold you in love. And finally, one more candle to represent all that remains unspoken, all those things that reside in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. This candle is for all of those things. We hold you and all of that in love. So please join me in a time of silence, spirit of prayer or meditation, as we hold all that has been shared in our hearts. Amen. I invite you to sing number 336, All My Memories of Love. Please rise in body and or spirit to sing this beautiful reflection about memories and experiences held dear, hung upon the tree of life, as it were. 336.
All my memories of love hang upon high stars. All the souls I've lost to tears now the autumn jars. And the air around me here thickens with their song. Sing again their nameless tunes, sing again and strong. Willows in September touch the water clear, set among the rushes tall of the flowing year. Rising up from sunlit past comes the shadowed sigh, running toward me silently, love to fortify. Many are the graceful hearts hung upon this tree, and it seems there's room for mine on these branches free. And the sky above the tree, whether wet or bright, is my ease and comforting, my good news and light.
Today's reading offers us another way to reflect on where we've been by laying it out as a kind of geography. You can imagine spreading a map out and pointing to all of the places you've been as I read these words by Victoria Safford, Map of the Journey in Progress. Here is where I found my voice and chose to be brave. Here's a place where I forgave someone against my better judgment, and I survived that, and unexpectedly, amazingly, I became wiser. Here's where I was once forgiven and was ready for once in my life to receive forgiveness and to be transformed. And I survived that also. I lived to tell the tale. This is the place where I said no, more loudly than I thought I ever could. And everyone stared, but I said no loudly anyway, because I knew it must be said, and those staring settled down into a harmless, ineffective grumbling, and over me they had no power anymore. Here's a time, and here's another, when I laid down my fear and walked right on into it, right up to my neck into that roiling water. Here's where cruelty taught me something. And here's where I was first astonished by gratuitous compassion and knew it for the miracle it was, the requirement it is. It was a trembling time. And here, much later, is where I returned the blessing clumsily. It wasn't hard, but I was unaccustomed. It cycled round, and as best I could, I sent it back out, passed the gift along. This circular motion around and around has no apparent end. Here's a place, a murky puddle, where I have stumbled more than once and fallen. I don't know yet what to learn there. On this site, I was outraged, and the rage sustains me still. It clarifies my seeing. And here's where something caught me, a warm breeze in late winter, birdsong in late summer. Here's where I was told that something was wrong with my eyes, that I see the world strangely. And here's where I said, yes, I know, I walk in beauty. Here is where I began to look with my own eyes and listen with my ears and sing my own song, shaky as it is. Here is where, as if by surgeon's knife, my heart was opened up. And here, and here, and here, and here. These are the landmarks of conversion.
Oh, the places you've been. So, have you ever been invited over to a friend's home to see pictures from their most recent travels? Right? Or maybe it was you who invited others to come to enjoy your snapshots. You know, it's true that when we have had some exciting experience or been able to visit new and wonderful places, we want to tell others about it. Like the penny in today's story, we want to share our joy, our past, where we've been, and if we're being honest, maybe even brag a bit. Tina and Woody and I yesterday tried to figure out what they call that on Facebook, that kind of adventure porn. I can't remember exactly, there's a name for it, and if any of you know, call it out. Post things which claim one's life is somehow made better or more valuable by taking trips and having exotic experiences. Does anyone remember what that's called? I don't know. I'll think of it one day, in the middle of the night probably. Anyway, all of these things, all of these experiences are, of course, fine in and of themselves, but it does tend to upstage everyday life. Lives that are real and meaningful, maybe more heart-centered, maybe kinder to the planet, maybe less voyeuristic. You know, for me, I'd rather, when possible, really be able to look back on where I've been, on where we've been, and reflect on what I've learned, on how far I've come. To look at what I've actually experienced through the lens of growing, and carefully gather a little bit of wisdom from that to stead me for the journey ahead. You know, as in Kunitz's poem, we can look back at milestones, those places of unusual change or awareness or growth or impact, and note that something important happened, you know, just there. I actually quite like the map analogy as an aid in imagining the landscapes we've traversed, be those places emotional or spiritual or relational. There's actually a curriculum offered by the Center for Courage and Renewal called A Geography of Grace, which takes participants on a journey through different landscapes and ecosystems to consider what we've experienced through the lens of a particular kind of environment. Marshy times, desert times, forest baths, mountaintop perches, all metaphorical ways to think about where we've been. And in that process, to gather wisdom, to appreciate what's been, even if it seems like it was garbage or painful or boring. In that reflection, we can hope to hear a voice telling us not to live in the litter, but rather to live in the layers of meaning, layers of connection, you know, onion peels of deeper and deeper understanding. Because the thing is, wherever we've been, whatever we've experienced, it all is, or can be, fodder out of which we craft meaning, lessons by which we learn and grow, the touchstones where we develop compassion and understandings. All the places we've been deserve reflection and consideration, and to hold in our hands, if just for a moment, what has been, in order to see what we've learned, that we might have a better chance of becoming the people we want to be. Well, you know how when you're flying somewhere and you've carefully packed and you get to the airport and then to the security check, and it seems like you've been asked to unpack everything. Take off your shoes, your belt, your jacket, your jewelry, take out your electronics, put them in a different bin, empty your pockets. Wait, oh gosh, did I accidentally pack my Swiss Army knife or a too big bottle of something? Well, take it out because you got to leave it behind. You wrapped a gift and they make you unwrap it? Step aside. You cannot go through yet. Well, that's the discombobulation area. And it seems that's where you were 2 years ago, at a kind of confusing crossroads, unsteady, a bit lost. Why is Reverend Susel leaving? And why now? That wasn't the plan. What, we have to go through someone else's process? Who's in charge here? Why can't Reverend Denise stay? What's the board doing anyway? Why do we have to get an interim? Wait, why do we have to do this? And who is it that's coming from Canada? This cannot possibly help. Remember that? Really, remember that. It was a time. You were all packed and moving along just fine. And then what? Although it was a moment very specific to UUCW in the winter spring of 21-22, we all can recognize being discombobulated like that. Whether or not you were part of this congregation then, I expect you can identify with getting lost and confused from time to time. And that's the place where our time together began, you and me. We were all a little lost, discombobulated. And you know, when you're feeling a little lost, a map comes in really handy. Not a literal map of a specific geography, but a map of our external experiences, our internal responses, the things we know to be true that we've forgotten to remember. And so, with the help of all you wonderfuls who showed up for lunch on Friday, I'd like to spend some time looking at a map with you today. That is, looking back over the past 2 years and seeing what we've experienced and learned together, and the ways in which I hope our journey together puts you in good stead for your future. I was somewhat inspired by something that Vicki, your church administrator, and I experienced at professional days at the Regional Assembly in April. We learned about a new UUA project called Deeper Joy, which uses an imaginary map as a way to both look at where we've been and where we might need to spend some time. And on their map, there were things like the stretching river, the healing springs, the bonding harbor, the covenant lighthouse. And we can create our own maps based on where we've been, where we are, and where we need to go. So let's unfold this big map. You know, a map big enough and colorful enough and clear enough and instructive enough to spark our memories and help us remember where we've been. Whoops. Oh yeah, here. We've already talked about the crossroads of discombobulation, where there was confusion and hurt feelings and anger. Kind of a tough spot. But here is where you learned you had to unpack what had happened and to name some hard things and to be vulnerable with your feelings. And it's where you began to trust that taking risks with one another can actually lead to a greater sense of belonging and connection. And you know, even though you were unsure and confused, you found a listening bench over here, I think. That place where you showed up to spend time with one another. You know, where you sat down knee to knee and you took time to get to know one another. You just sat down and you told your stories, and you waited for clarity, and began to trust that together you can figure out what direction to head in. And oh yeah, remember this over here, that's that arduous, rocky uphill climb. You know, it's where you learn to claim that UUCW is your community, that it's up to you, that each of you is empowered to and capable of and responsible for building beloved community. You know, on this hill over here, you found the courage to lead and to serve. It's where you felt empowered and were given permission to go for it. And I hope you never forget how satisfying it is to know that you can make that climb with one another's help. Yeah, here and here and here and here. Oh man, they're all over the place. There are those murky puddles that you've stepped into over and over again. Each soggy shoe reminding you that you've got more unpacking and dismantling to do. Yet these places are also where over and over again you've stayed committed to justice making and to anti-racism work. I mean, when you hit those places, isn't it great to remember that you've had some experience with discombobulation? Because those muddy puddles of white supremacy culture, they keep showing up, and they keep throwing our identities off balance, reminding us that we have got some work to do. And you've learned that it's okay to be uncomfortable there sometimes. And I think some of that is because, you know, you found this place right over here where there's a spot beside a flowing river, and someone showed up for you. And you were sat there and you were listened to. There was someone there who noticed that you could use some help. And remember how you resisted taking that help? And then when you did, you were able to let go and to hear the sound of your own voice, to feel your own strength and courage coming forward. And remember how much more connected you felt? There's so much healing about sitting next to the water with each other. And now you know how to get there. And you can go back there over and over again. And as you look at where you've been, it's okay to decide not to visit some places again. Because too often you've been to this obstacle course over here where you've been tested and expected to excel and to perform well or even perfectly. I'd like to suggest that you let the path leading to that course grow over so that you eventually forget about its existence. Let that test course fall into ruin, and perhaps open instead an experimental lab where you can try out new things without fear of failure or judgment, a place where you can go to laugh at your mistakes, where everyone's encouraged to try new things and to do it wrong. Oh, that would be a great place to learn, wouldn't it? So why not experiment with that some more? Oh yeah, I don't think we can forget. We can't really forget about the stormy seas. We've been there, right? Things have not always been calm. And when you find yourselves in this difficult place, struggling, we have to remember that we're also learning something about how to manage conflict, how to be as transparent and honest as possible, how to say hard things with grace and humility, how to hold one another accountable. You're getting so much better at navigating this place, steering this ship, learning to stay and weather the storm even when it's difficult. As they say, the only way over is through. There's also storms often in that place of going through, but you're learning so much about doing that. And thank goodness it's not always like that. You have learned that when you put love at the center, when you open your hearts to yourself and to others, when you risk vulnerability with one another, you find the path to beautiful pastures that are flooded with wildflowers, where clouds drift by in a light breeze. However you imagine that place, that meadow, where you find deeper joy because of some simple kindness shown, or maybe by doing the hokey pokey together, or because it's just because of some just right message you heard, or someone's inspiring life story shared, or some random thing and deep connection that happened. And when I look at this map, those pastures are all over the place. There's open fields of joy everywhere, always available to you. You just have to choose to go there. I know you've been there, and I know you'll be able to return there often. So what else? I'm sure I can't tell you about every place on this map, and you can tell each other about the places you've been. But I do notice that here and here and here, up here, there are the recombobulation areas. All those places where you've pulled yourself back together and reoriented yourselves for the journey ahead. In one of those places you created a new mission statement, and you packed into it all the things that really matter to you, all that you need for the journey toward the world you want to help to create. And then there was that one day when you came here, right here. You came to that point where there was this surprising scenic overlook where a strong wind of excitement caught you, where, following the lead of your dedicated board of directors and your wise ministerial search committee, you did the big, exciting work of calling a new minister. I saw you hold hands there, crying with joy and relief, feeling that surge of hopefulness, finally able to release all that pent-up fear and uncertainty. You found there together the assurance that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Because UUCW is a happening place, a place of love and connection and justice making. And you are here. You're here. There will be other tough times ahead. It can be a dangerous world out there. Many are feeling anxious about the future, about what's going to happen in these United States this fall. No doubt you're going to need all of what you've learned together about how to support one another, how to listen carefully, how to spend time by still waters and in joyful pastures, how to remember and pay attention to your mission, how to lean in when it's uncomfortable, how to stay at the table when there's conflict, and how even when you fail, to learn and then to pick yourselves up and keep going in love, with love, always. Just think of all the places you've been and of all the places you're going. You are not done with your changes. May it be so. Amen.
So before we get to the offering, let me just say, Reverend Yulin, can't see you behind the screen. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and our entire congregation, thank you so much for your work helping us navigate that map. All right then. One way that Unitarian Universalist Church West helps address human needs and advance social justice in our community is through our Split the Plate program. Each month, we give half of all undesignated offerings to a local nonprofit to help us live our Unitarian Universalist values and serve our community. Our Split the Plate partner for June is the Benedict Center, as suggested by Dr. John Moyer. The Benedict Center is an interfaith nonprofit dedicated to helping women who become involved in the criminal justice system find hope and lead safer and healthier lives. For roughly 50 years, the Benedict Center has assisted women through pre-arrest, pre-trial, incarceration, reentry, probation, and parole. The staff also does outreach to women engaged in the street-based sex trade who face high levels of physical and sexual assault, abusive relationships, and sex trafficking. Unfortunately, criminal charges don't lead to more safety for women. In fact, the revolving door of arrest and jail time can make it harder for people to commit survival crimes like trading sex to achieve stability. A recent report from the Medical College of Wisconsin finds that police don't have the means to distinguish sex trafficking victims from others. When women are diverted from the criminal justice system to the Benedict Center Sisters program, they find support from public health systems like Housing First and harm reduction services tailored to their specific needs. You can help support the Benedict Center right now, or you can go to the UUCW's website Donate tab and select Split the Plate from the menu, or you could text or email your donation today using the information on the screen. Thank you. I thank you today for your generosity at the Benedict Center, and we will now gratefully accept your offering.
Please join me in the words of dedication found in your order of service and on the screen. To the work of this community, which is to ground ourselves in love and joy and to act for inclusion and justice, we dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings. Everywhere we've been, every experience we've had prepares us for how we respond in the present and what choices we make in the future. So before we depart, we're going to sing "We Will Not Stop Singing" by the Chapin Sisters. We're going to sing along with a video made by the First Unitarian Brooklyn Choir with music arranged by and led by Adam Pod. This is with the approval of the Chapin Sisters, who joyfully responded in email to say, please sing, please sing. There are lyrics in the video, and you'll also find the words in your order of service. It's a pretty easy tune to catch on to, so just join as you can.
We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing. We will not stop singing
Till the world can sing the song, till the world will sing along.
We will till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop praying, we will not stop praying, we will not stop praying, till we all can get along, till the world can sing our song. We will not stop shouting, we will not stop shouting, we will not stop shouting, shouting right from wrong, till the world can sing our song. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. Till the world can sing, till the world can sing, till the world can sing along. We will not stop singing, we will not stop singing, we will not stop singing, till the world can hear our song, till the world can sing along.
Please remain standing for our benediction. This sweet time together has come to an end, this time of remembering and listening and learning and sharing and singing. So now take a moment to breathe in the love and support you find here. And also take a moment to breathe out the love and support you offer to others. Offer gratitude for all the places you've been as individuals and as a community. If you'd like, you're welcome to join hands for our closing words, written by Kimberly Quinn Johnson, fitted for this day and slightly adapted. You are the ones you've been waiting for. You are not perfect, but you are perfectly fitted for this day. You are not without fault, but you can be honest to face your past as you chart a new future. You are the ones you have been waiting for. May you be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May you have faith in a future that's not known. You are the ones you've been waiting for.